Hello and welcome to Diagnosing Life. No copay required. My name is Aryana, your orthopedic surgical spine PA. I diagnose people by day and overthink everything by night. This episode is going to be extremely special to me because I have my fiancé joining me today. Say hi.
Hello.
Today we're pulling back the curtain to see what life is really like, and we're going to kind of take you back to before PA school started and how we met. We're gonna speak about how we navigated PA school and how we are now navigating me working as a surgical PA and my crazy hours. Not only that, but we're also going to talk about how we are also navigating planning a wedding on top of everything. It's chaotic, emotional, beautiful, and it's extremely messy. Kind of like my shifts in the OR, but definitely with more cake tastings. So let's go ahead and start and talk about how we met. Gabe, do you want to take it away?
Okay, we met at UTMB 2017 or 2018. Spring of 2018, I believe.
Yes, 2018.
I was at a medical school conference at UTMB. We met through a mutual friend. I was taking a class at a junior college here in Houston.
Sorry, my dog is drinking water.
I was taking an additional course that spring while teaching. We met there at UTMB. It almost didn't happen. I didn't sleep last night. I wasn't prepared. It was storming that day, but it was definitely worth it.
So yes, we were going to a medical school conference that our mutual friend had invited us to. And at that point, he was thinking about going into medical school. What did you want to go into?
Peds.
So he was thinking about going into medical school, and I was still trying to figure my life out, to be quite honest. And that is why we ended up going. That morning, I remember walking in and sitting with my friend, and he was already sitting there, and he did not even say hi to me. Yeah, he didn't even introduce himself. I think it was until, was it like halfway through the sessions? He finally told me his name, and by that time he had already been like following me around the entire conference. And so yeah, that's basically how we met. We met at a medical school conference when we thought we were going to go into medical school. How has life been from us meeting to me going into PA school? What do you remember the most, or how did you feel about that?
We've moved 6 times, I think.
Not before PA school.
Oh, well, before PA school, we moved down to the valley, purchased a house.
And
right
this
when
was during COVID.
When the pandemic happened. So we bought the house in July 2020 before everything went crazy. I moved to a place that I wasn't familiar with, South Texas. 2 dogs, girlfriend, bought a house.
Well, we weren't even going to get a house.
Yeah.
We were moving down to the valley because I wanted to go into PA school down there, but I wasn't ready to apply yet. So I found a job working in the COVID vaccine trials. And that is why we were moving down to the valley. And he had just gotten a job as a teacher down there. And we were trying to find an apartment during that time. But because of one of our dogs, he looks like a pit bull mix, they weren't accepting us at a lot of places. And that is when he ended up finding this place that the houses were like 90% built, and we ended up going down there to see them.
Yeah, it was definitely, everything happened really fast. And then I was working as a teacher, and then you were working in the COVID trials, and that was hard because you'd come home and you'd have to like take a shower right away, and you were wearing 2 masks. And then
we weren't able to see family as much either because my grandma is older, and because I was with all the COVID patients and there wasn't vaccines at the time yet, we didn't know how that was going to impact her. And we also have little cousins that I believe at that time they were maybe, one was a couple of months old and the other one was maybe about to turn 2.5 or 3. And so it was really hard not being able to be with our family, especially since we moved down to be closer to them. And that was really, really challenging.
Yeah, it was definitely challenging. And yeah, during that time it was just hard because schools were still shut down, but then I was back working in this classroom, but nobody was there.
Oh, that's true. You still had to go to class,
I still had to go to the building, which doesn't make any sense. I was just in the classroom by myself, streaming to the kids while the dogs are at home. Yeah, it was kind of hard. So, and then you were trying to get into PA school, And it's this kind of thing where like you spoke it into existence because we moved down to the valley and you weren't even in PA school.
Exactly.
So it's one of those things where it was like, this has to work.
And it did work.
And it worked.
Yeah, I'm very big on manifestations. And so I told him, I'm like, yes, we're going to move to the valley. We're going to get a house. I'm going to get into PA school and that's going to be it. And even when I was in PA school, I believe it was after my first or second semester, I already knew I was going to get all of my rotations in Houston. I was going to get my 3.5-month rotation in Houston, and we were going to move to Houston as soon as graduation happened. And thankfully everything happened the way that I planned, but because I spoke it into existence, and I'm really big into just if you believe it and if you speak it, it's going to happen. And that's exactly what I did. So let's talk a little bit about how hard it was when I officially became a PA student. Can you talk about a little bit how stressful that was, or seeing me in school 24/7 and coming home stressed? How was that transition for you?
It's funny because it's like I don't really remember it, kind of, because
Same.
everything was going crazy, like managing the 2 dogs, the house, and then I started school. So the good thing is when you were in school, I had started my program for computer science. So any downtime that I had, I was just working on my classes. And it was also an understanding that we didn't see each other because you were doing something school related. So it's really important that if you do go to, when you do go to PA school or work in the medical profession, that you have a partner that understands that they're not going to see you that much.
Yeah, I think that was really, really important for us, and especially with him going back to school. So he would work a full-time job, and then as soon as he was out of work, he would start studying, and he would get out like around 4-ish, right?
Yeah, I'd come home, feed the dogs, go to the gym, come home, eat, and then walk the dogs. So it's like an hour plus, and then start studying.
Yeah, and during that time, I didn't get out of class till like 5:36, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I think it was like Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I didn't get out till like 5-ish. But even at that, I still had study sessions. And so I would come home, I would have dinner really quickly. Thankfully, he usually had dinner already made for me. And that's also really important, to have a partner that understands that you're not going to have time to cook or clean as much as what you were doing before. He definitely understood that. And so I would come home, food was ready, and I would eat really quickly, and then I would start studying. Yeah. And we would have our office, and my desk would be on one side, his desk would be on the other side of the room, and we would just be in there for hours together. He was working on his stuff, I was working on my stuff, and our pups were just there with us.
Yeah, it's like that term. I think it's like you just zone in. Like for those years that we were both in school.
We were grinding.
Well, up until recently, there was the weekends were just, okay, let's go get a coffee from Starbucks, and maybe we go to the gym that day, walk the dogs, but we're just studying the whole day. Like people would ask us, like, what do you do on the weekends? Like, we're both studying. And like not meeting with friends.
Yeah.
We met with family sometimes, but it just, you have to go dark. Like you have to focus on yourself.
Yeah, and also, the friends that we did hang out with, it was mostly my PA friends.
Yeah.
And so after Black Mondays or after exams, everybody would kind of come to our house and we would have a little party, or we would all go out and have a drink together. But it was very rare that we would do that, maybe once a month. We would really, really try to just focus on ourselves and focus on what we were doing during that time.
Yeah, that was the perk of owning a home, is that we got to host study sessions, and I was always open to it. Like we had a 4-bedroom house. No, we had a 3-bedroom house.
We had a 3-bedroom, yeah.
One was a study room, one was a guest, one was ours. The study room was either occupied by me or classmates, or sometimes I'd be studying in the study room and I'd come out and then there's like 5 people in the kitchen studying.
Yeah.
And it was just like everybody's focused.
Everybody was always at our house, and everybody always said Gabe also graduated as a PA, an honor PA, you know. He was there through it all. Also, my fiance's name is Gabe. I forgot to introduce you. What is some moments that kind of tested our relationship?
I don't know if tested, but I mean, you know that I loved Austin. So we moved to Austin.
And
I
I was
was
depressed.
happy because I like nature. I just got that itch of the tech field. I didn't know much about it, but I knew that Austin was growing in that area. And I knew, okay, I like teaching, but I can't do this forever. There's something else I have to do. Like, I took all these hard classes in undergrad. Like, I just feel like I could do more. So then I got the tech itch while working in the oil field. And we were living in Austin. I was like, okay, be a teacher for a couple of years and then work in tech. And then when we moved from Austin to what I consider the middle of nowhere, in the valley, it wasn't a relationship issue. It was just like you kind of put your dreams on hold.
But it was worth it at the end.
Well, in a relationship, that's what you do. Like, because she even was, you were even contemplating not going to PA school. And I told you that at the end of the day, you need to go. Like, that's what you need to do. Like, if you're with me or not, like, that's what you're going to do. So I don't want you to regret that decision.
Yeah. I think on things that kind of tested, this is Luca, on things that kind of tested our relationship, I want to say it was how much I would study at times and didn't have time for us. We really tried to make date night a thing. You know, I've spoken about date night here before, and oh, come on, get up, just get up, all the way up. Yeah. So we have a guest appearance, the second one. This is Luca. Apparently, he also wants to be part of the podcast, but he doesn't want to show his face. So yes, something that tested our relationship, I would say, was the amount of time that I didn't have for us. And I remember we went out for breakfast one time, and during that day, I was still pretty much studying while I was there. I had my flashcards, and he kind of told me, you need to stop. You know, you need to stop because you're not paying attention to our relationship. I don't know if you remember this. We were having pancakes, and that is when I realized that yes, I am in school, but at the end of the day, I also have to make time for my relationship. And around me, I saw so many people break. A lot of relationships were failing in PA school, and I believe that's very common with other people that I've spoken to in other programs, where people just don't know how to have that balance in a relationship, and it really, really hinders them. And unfortunately, the relationship suffers. And I remember after that conversation that we had, I made sure to have our date nights again. So every Thursday we would have our date night, whether it be at home or we would go get sushi. It was just always something. And all of my friends knew that on Thursdays they could not call me because I would not answer because I would be at date night. But I think that was a moment that really was challenging for us because I didn't know how to balance school and our relationship at that point.
Even one of your professors told your class that a lot of y'all weren't going to make it in relationship-wise.
That was really awkward. So it was after we got engaged, it was after spring break, and he asked like, oh, anything exciting happened this spring break? And one of my classmates was like, oh, Aryana got engaged. And he was like, congratulations, but just letting you know, relationships fail during medical school and PA school. And I was like, oh, thank you for that. I appreciated that. It was kind of awkward after that, not gonna lie.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, I kind of do the same thing where I focus on something, and I have a habit of where I can become selfish and just like really zone in on something. But then I have to realize that like I need to make time for relationship and dog and stuff like that and other people. But I just get like really focused on that too. But I think it's also your circle. If people around you understand what that is like, they'll admire that. If people don't, they'll think that you're selfish or you're being antisocial. So that's a big thing about your circle. In your circle, they were all motivated, so they understood like, hey, I'm not going to call you. I'm not going to text you every day. I need to study. I have Black Monday. I have to study. Like, I can't go to this birthday. I can't go to this wedding. Like, it's difficult.
It really was difficult. And we missed one of our close friends' weddings during PA school, and it was really hard because we had already purchased everything. We had purchased flights and hotel, and we were ready to go to the wedding. It was a destination wedding, and they ended up doing a pop quiz that Friday that we were going to leave, and they told our class that we could not miss that quiz, and if we did, it was going to be 0, which would end up bringing us down half a letter grade. And I was already in between an A and a B, so I couldn't really miss that test. And unfortunately, we ended up having to choose my school. And at the same time, because it was a destination wedding, it was in Mexico. There was a lot of things going on in Mexico at the time. And so he didn't feel safe going either. And so, sometimes, unfortunately, we had to miss family and friends events. And it was really hard for me because I've spoken about it before, but I'm a people pleaser. And so I definitely wanted to be there for those people, those individuals, and unfortunately we were not able to. Being in medicine is both emotionally and physically demanding. There were times that I would come home completely drained, and Gabe would still be there at home and greet me with open arms, patience, warm food. My clothes was already hung and dry and clean, and just he would have that space for me to kind of vent about literally everything. And I'm very grateful that I was able to have that, and I continue to have that right now. So do you have a moment that you remember either while I was in PA school that was the hardest for you?
About you or just
like in general,
life?
Like what was hard for you while I was in PA school? Like, do you have a moment where you're like, dang, I'm kind of doing all of this alone?
I wouldn't say it was that hard because we lived in an area where with my teaching check, we were good.
I didn't mean in that form.
Well, that's another thing, like finances.
Oh, fine. Yeah.
So you have to realize if you have a partner that's in a medical school, PA school, NP, nursing, like if they have to go and they're not making income, it's on you. You have to get creative, and hopefully you live in a space where rent is not high or your house is not that high, because that could get you. Like if you went to PA school here in Houston,
that would have been crazy.
No,
yeah.
Can't do it. Because I was making $55 in the Valley. The mortgage was $1,400 altogether, and just had a car payment. Loans were in forbearance. So we don't live a crazy lifestyle. Like we probably went to the movies a couple times. Mm-hmm. We really didn't do anything. So you have to make sure your finances are good though, because that can be another stress.
And I had classmates that didn't have spouses to support them during PA school, or didn't have family to help them. And a lot of them took out loans. I even took out loans. It was hard for everyone. But one thing that we have to keep reminding ourselves is that once we get out of PA school, we get paid pretty well, fortunately, and we will be able to pay off these loans in the next couple of years. And I think that's really important to know.
But also life happens. Like what if you would have had, like we had our issue where we had a dog that needed surgery, $10,000. What if you're a student and you don't have that money?
Exactly. That's hard. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think as a partner, especially as a man, like if your fiance or girlfriend is in a medical professional program, it drives you more to be successful because you want to make sure that you take that stress off of them. Because the last thing they want to worry about is finances.
Yeah.
And I know that's the number one cause of divorce or breakup is finances. Imagine you're studying for Black Monday and you're worried, okay, my bills need to get paid. No, you can't even think about that.
That's true.
But you were also rare that you had a brand new car in PA school. So you had a house in PA school and a brand new car.
Yes. What can I say? I'm spoiled.
No, but we needed that car because we had 2 dogs. We were traveling a lot, like not even for fun, but just going to Houston or you had to travel to different sites, and we needed that car.
I think one part that was not challenging, it was a little hard though, was when we still had our house in the Valley. I had just started my clinical rotations. And of course, my clinical rotations were in Houston because I planned it out that way. And I ended up having to stay with some family members. And he was back at home for that 1 month. And during that month that he was home alone, he was packing up our entire house. He was with our 2 dogs, and he was showing the house because we had to sell it right away.
Showing the house, still in school, still doing classes.
Oh yeah, he was still working full time, still doing classes. And did you already have an internship at that time? You did have an internship,
yeah,
and he also had an internship.
And then P was experiencing issues with the surgery, so he demanded extra attention. So it was a lot.
It was a lot. But after that 1 month, we were able to sell our house and we officially moved to Houston. And that was a big relief for us. I was really happy when I finally had my boys back with me. I was able to complete all my rotations in Houston and just live the life that I had intended and wanted to during my clinical rotations.
But that was also scary because our cost of living almost doubled.
It did, yes.
And so any money that we made from the house was spent that year.
Back onto our rent. Yeah, it was pretty insane, but it was going to be worth it. So let's talk about shifting a little bit. Let's talk about how you decided where you were going to propose to me and why did you decide that place? Or like what drove you to propose there?
What drove me?
And for anyone that doesn't know, we ended up he proposed to me in Utah on top of a mountain with snow, and he hired a photographer.
Was it little cottonwood or big cottonwood?
It was a cottonwood. I don't remember if it was big or little.
So when we were living together in Houston in a 1-bedroom apartment, she had randomly started talking about Utah. And this is before I looked into Utah. And you'd think, I'm going to go to PA school in Utah and it's $100,000 per year. And then fast forward, I'm just on YouTube. I watch random things. And I started seeing stuff about Utah and I was like, oh wow, it's really pretty, really pretty. And then during the pandemic, we're like, what if we moved to Utah? Like, it looks beautiful out there. Like, the homes weren't that expensive. This is before everything went up.
And then one of my favorite YouTubers lives in Utah. And so I was obsessed with that.
So then in the pandemic, we had traveled to Colorado. Mm-hmm. And that was a big deal, our first time ever traveling together. And so we're like, oh, wow, this is pretty. Like, the trees and snow and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, let's go to Utah. And so I had planned, I was like looking up places that were nice, and then I asked around, and then that's when I picked it. Then I had to talk to the photographer months in advance, hide that, and then I had to ask about the ring and hide that.
I know it's very hard to hide things from me because I just like to snoop around, and I just know everything. I knew something was off when he said, hey, I want to plan the entire trip on my own. And by entire trip, I mean he wanted to book flights, hotel, the whole thing. And that's when I knew. I'm like, oh, I'm getting proposed.
But also I had to work around your schedule. Mm-hmm. To see when you were free. So we ended up going during spring break, right?
Yeah, and I still had to study because I remember I had Black Monday right after spring break. Because
I wanted it to be where it was snowing. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't wait till the summer because it would stop. Mm-hmm. So I was like, it has to be snowing because I want the pictures to look a certain way. And then I originally wanted to take the dogs, but then that wasn't going to work out.
I'm going to insert a picture here of how pretty it was.
Yeah, it was super pretty.
Yeah.
So we saw a moose and everything in the mountains.
It was with a baby moose.
Yeah.
It had a baby.
Really,
it was so cute.
So I really liked that area. So, but everything went well. After I proposed, I kind of was like, okay.
Yeah. And then wedding planning started.
Yeah.
Wedding planning I know a lot of people say it's stressful, but I'm a type A person. So as soon as we got engaged, this was 2.5 years ago, we got engaged in March, and that summer in August, we had already planned to go look at wedding venues. We had the 3 wedding venues that we wanted. We went, we saw them. We were pretty much stuck on the first one. We had been liking that one for a very long time. And when we went and we saw it in person, fell in love with it. And it was an all-inclusive package. So it includes photographer, the decorations, flowers, cake, food, bar, the getaway car. Literally, it includes everything. Invitations, save the dates, the whole 9 yards. And so wedding planning hasn't been that stressful for us, to be honest. Right?
Yeah, it's pretty chill.
It's pretty chill. The only thing that we've had a little, not argument about, is it an argument? I don't know, bicker, is about the food.
Yeah.
Because I wanted some broccolini with the entree. I wanted broccolini or some type of vegetable with the carb and the protein. And he wants double carbs. So he ended up winning that argument. So for those going to our wedding, you will have double carbs for our entree. And I mean, they're really good. But yeah, wedding planning has not been crazy. You want to say hi? Wedding planning has honestly not been too crazy. We ended up choosing everything before, I want to say before graduation, right? We had already finished everything. So before graduation, this is like last December, we had already chosen our colors, decorations, our menu items, our signature drinks. Everything has been chosen. And so we've just been chilling for wedding planning, to be honest. The venue just messages us, hey, do you guys still want this? And we just say yes, and that's it. Another thing is choosing how many people we're going to invite to the wedding. That has been challenging. He doesn't have that much family, but I do. And so we've been trying to narrow it down to 150 to 160 people. And right now we're at 200, but we're trying, I know that, they say like invite people and 20% of the people aren't going to show up. And that's kind of like what I'm hoping for. And those RSVPs, if people don't RSVP by a certain date, unfortunately, they will not have a seat at the wedding. And that's just how it's going to be. But yeah, I think that has been one of the hardest things is finding, the amount of people that we're going to invite. Yeah. I'm not going to give too many details about my wedding dress. So I found my wedding dress last November, so almost a year ago. And it was just kind of out of the bloom. I told my family, hey, I want to go look at wedding dresses and I just want to look, I didn't expect to find the wedding dress at that place, but we went and my little cousin and my sister were with me, my mom, my grandma, and my grandma's sister. We all went and everybody chose their favorite dress. And my cousin looked at the pictures of the dresses that I had visioned. I had this vision in my head about. And she saw this dress and she said, this is your dress. This is the dress in the pictures. And that's the first dress I tried on. And that was the dress. I can't wait for you to see it. It looks so pretty.
I still haven't got my suit.
What do you mean? I told you to do this so long ago.
I haven't got my suit yet.
What do you mean you haven't gotten your suit? I don't know if you know, but we get married in less than 6 months. We're in August, September, October, November. We get married in 4 months. And you haven't gotten your suit yet? Do you know what color of suit you're going to get? When a type A person is going to marry a type B person.
What does type B mean?
You.
What does that mean?
That means you're very
No, not really.
Yes, you are. Look, type B personality. Let's look it up. Let's see. A type B personality is someone that is relaxed, easygoing, and a patient demeanor.
I'm patient?
You're very patient. You have to deal with me. This is literally you. They are generally calm and adaptable, not easily stressed or flustered. We got married in less than 4 months, and you still haven't gotten your tux. I got my wedding dress in November. No, almost a year ago.
I was hoping by now I'd be skinny. That's why I haven't got it.
Me, that's a mood.
And I have to get a suit that is adjustable.
Oh my god, I cannot with you.
But to be fair, I was recovering from knee surgery, so.
Yes, so he had his third ACL surgery on the same knee.
December 20th?
December 20, yeah.
Or 18th or 20th?
No,
after my birthday.
It was after your birthday, 21st. No.
20th.
It was the day of your birthday.
Oh. But yeah, I was on couch for a long time.
Yeah. Almost a year into recovery.
Yeah.
But yes, it's been, I can't believe you haven't gotten your suit. Do I have to make an appointment for you?
Just go to Macy's or something.
Oh my goodness. I'll figure it out. Don't worry. Okay.
So I have to get him a suit.
If you're dating someone in medicine, or if you're a person in medicine, here's what's helped us.
Thank you, Luca.
So what has helped you? Got it. He said communication. What else?
Patience.
Lots of patience. Planning joy in between our schedules. So planning our little date nights every Thursdays and just having time for ourselves.
Then when they try to tell you stuff at work, you do a lot of uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
Wow. Really? Even though you don't know what they're saying.
What?
You can't, to someone that's never studied biology or medicine, you can't break down a whole surgery to a layman. They're just like, I don't know what you're talking about. But they'll be like, mm-hmm.
But
Sure.
How did that help us in our relationship?
Because that's part of listening. You're listening, you're just doing the That's like if I tell you stuff at work, I'm like, look at this code. You're like, same thing.
True. Another thing that kind of helped us is respecting each other whenever we are burnt out and exhausted. So giving each other space. Well, he needs space whenever he's burnt out and exhausted. I don't. I need to be hugged. I need to be loved. I need a lot. But as time has gone on, he has kind of figured out what I need, and I've known now what he needs whenever he has those type of things. So you just really need to understand your partner's, not love language, but stress language.
Yeah, like me, I need to go out walking, go to the gym, just be moving, like just doing something.
Yeah. So those are some of the things that definitely helped us. But I think the number one thing that has helped us stay strong, not only in PA school, but throughout these 8 years, have been communication. And he's learned how to communicate because he wasn't that good at communication when we first met. And here we are 8 years later, and we're strong. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. All right. And there's no wrong answer.
It's a setup.
There's no wrong answer, okay? What's the most annoying thing that I do when I come home after a super long day in the OR?
Complain about your job, even though you prayed for it.
I never complain.
Yeah, you prayed for times like this.
But I don't complain. Okay.
All that work you did, and then you complain, like, I had to do this. Like, well, this is what you wanted to do.
I didn't eat today. I think that's the thing I complain about the most.
That's why I couldn't do that job. I have to eat. Or I haven't used the restroom. I couldn't do that. I have IBS. I couldn't be in surgery. I'm afraid of needles. I couldn't do that.
It's a hard life to have IBS and be in surgery.
You complain about, I have to do rounds. I have to talk to patients. That's what you do. You talk to people.
I don't like talking.
Even though I look at code all day and I don't talk to people, but I understand.
But here's the thing, like, I like surgery. I love being a surgical PA. I don't really like talking to patients. I like my patients asleep, right? But I do have to see my patients in clinic. That's when I'm like, ugh. Those are my long days, to be honest. I feel like those are the longest days for me when I have to talk to patients. Okay, so next question. What is your favorite meal that I cook?
You cook?
I don't really cook.
She doesn't cook.
What's your favorite?
These generations cook. They don't cook.
Do you remember the first thing that I ever cooked for you?
Chicken that looked like white paper. Dude, Luca is disgusted.
Luca, be careful.
Hold on. Luca's disgusted. Yeah. Chicken breast that looked like white paper with frozen veggies.
I would eat that every single day back in the day. Anyway, okay. What is your favorite thing about me?
Just in general?
In general.
That you don't give up?
That's cute. I like that about you too. I like that you have goals for yourself and that you strive to be better. Like once you achieve something, you're always looking for the next best thing.
But that's also a curse. It's like I never get happy.
You didn't have to be so pessimistic.
No, it's like I get there, but I always want more. But I think that's what drives us though. We want more.
Yeah.
Like we're not complacent.
Exactly.
But you have to find that fine line between not being appreciative and like wanting to get more, you know?
Yeah, I like that. Well, is there anything else that you would like to add about being with a surgical PA or just being in this beautiful, wonderful relationship?
I can say my investment paid off.
Your investment?
Yeah, because the original goal was I would support you in PA school. You'd give me 2 years to do a master's full time. And then something happened and I wasn't on it.
That is a story for another time. So with that, I just want to say thank you for listening to yet another episode of Diagnosing Life. I am so happy that my fiancé was able to join us today and share a little bit about how we met and how we kind of navigated our life while we were both in school and working and doing everything in between. So if this episode resonated with you, or if you know anyone that it might help, whether they be a friend, a colleague, a partner, go ahead and send it to them. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Diagnosing Life. Until next time, bye.